get rid of the image, I'll get rid of the text. I'll lower down the music a little bit just to clear out any noise. Right, so this is where you can download the latest version, 7.14. It's called 7.1.4 as the exe, but it's really 7.1.2 because it's like kind of like a temporary build. So anyways, we'll start with a big welcome to everybody who made it here today. I want to really get down on all of the features and quirks and stuff that we have done since January. So all the new additions to the map editor, the things that are gonna help you become a better developer, create better servers, work faster and better, right? Because that's what OpenTibia is about. It's about friendship and collaboration. And that's why we want to focus here on collaboration, which is the biggest task that a lot of people struggle with when it comes to making servers. So, right. So Idler Map Editor, or a game editor as I call it now, is a multifunctional tool that is not only meant to aid you in mapping, but also in developing the server. So from the start, I guess we should maybe begin with the little things. So we have a palette here. Our palette has been modified. Let me just hit preferences and disable tileset editing for now, just so that you know how to access it later and to get a bit of a cleaner look. Okay, now that's a bit better. So the first thing you may see when you come to a palette is that you have an input ID here for action IDs. So the thing that I figured was, if you want to make quests or kind of like scripted things, you would have to go open a thing, add some action ID and then repeat it, right? Which is just it's like an apocalypse. You have to open everything, edit everything multiple times. So instead here now, you can just input an ID of your desire, select an item that you want to draw, and you can draw it along with an ID placed right on the item of your choosing. So here you could do something like, anytime somebody clicks any of these bookcases, it fetches the position, right? And has some Lua table that works from boot to boot, so each time you restart the server, the table resets. Temporary quests, where you find some scrolls, books, maybe even info about quests. So stuff like that, like just like a role-playing game should be, right? Further down the palette, we're gonna have a little troll. Okay, thanks. So selection to do ads, and like this is something that people have wanted since always, right? So let's say you want to have a copy of a building, right? You can quite literally just copy a building. Let's get all the borders. Do selection to do ad. Choose a place where you want it. Let's just choose tropical because I think it's like a spot where I have least items. I press OK. It says it's added it. Now here, if you press continue, you can continue adding other items. But if you hit refresh, it's just gonna reset the whole thing, load the map again, because it just needs it for palette refresh because it changes XML files, and while you have them opened via map, it can't really, edit them and stuff. So once that's done, we can go to our collection, and in tropical now I'm gonna have this whole building that I can quite literally place anywhere I want on the map. Somehow these borders didn't get copied, but like that's not really a big issue because we can just borderize selection. Oh, we can't. Okay, that doesn't work here. Interesting. Don't mind that. That's actually really interesting that it happened here. Maybe there's something wrong with the auto border tool, but maybe it's probably missing a patch that I've added. I might have deleted a commit that I was doing. It's basic division by 0, so here instead of it's because it's outer and not inner, and I was doing changes to that, so I need to make a different edge case for that. It was because I was fixing zones, like coding zones and stuff like that was a bit glitched, so that could be a little bit of a problem now with the borders. But if I do it here, it should without a problem. Yeah, we can just borderize selection like that, but obviously it's multiple borders here, so it's not gonna work properly like Automagic does. Um, right, so going further is house palette. So house palette was really something that was annoying to work with. Um, in 7.1.5, that automatic border for outer is gonna be probably fixed. So one thing now that you can do is you can select multiple towns and do move to town, where you can just move it to a different town of your choosing. So let's say I want to move all of this to Outlive Camp. Boom, I have all of these houses now in Outlive Camp, right? I can do it again for Venor, and it brings them back to Venor. It's quite handy if you've added some towns, some houses to a different town that you didn't mean to, so that you can get the back at them. Another thing with houses would probably be the IDs, but the tooltips are kind of, so each house now has a different floor color, so that helps distinguish which house is which based on their ID. But obviously, if you have some houses that are not that separate, so uh, actually I don't know why they're same color here, to be honest. I haven't a clue. They should all be different. They should all be different color here. Maybe it's something with the zone, Could be something with the zone. That yeah, it's the zones. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, the zones can mess that up. Okay, there's no zone here, so I should probably add one here. Um, so another thing will be creature palette. We'll focus on palette for now. So creatures obviously have a sprite view, so you can better distinguish what you're working with. Obviously, some of the outfits are not rendering still yet, because they're just added like with what you call it. They're added with like a default fallback ID, so that's why they're not showing, and also they're showing. I think they're NPCs actually. I didn't make it for NPCs. That's why. So NPCs are a bit different in XML formats, so that's yet to come. But monsters overall, yeah, they seem to resemble pretty well. The only thing that I would say is probably that the zoom is not really great, as it doesn't properly scale it. Um, we can obviously load full folders of monsters, right? We can also go and add a new creature. So if you have a creature that you want to place, so instead of even loading a full folder, you can just go, I don't know, demon 2 or whatever, look type 35, and it's gonna, hold on, we can just do it like that as well. Might be because the number actually, demon, maybe like this. Yeah, so you can quite literally place the monster straight away, and it's obviously gonna have the name that you choose. Might be a problem with the numbers, might not take integers as an input. Another thing would be raw, orders, and grid view, obviously, yeah. That's something that's quite handy now, but there's one gimmick until next version, that if you're on a different page, right, and you click, it always brings it back down to the bottom of the list. So I just need to do positioning here, that needs to be fixed. And that's pretty much everything for palette, except that we also have tileset editing. So I might as well go with the tileset tool, because it's a bit complicated. Yeah, sometimes it might just crash for whatever reason. It's probably because I had the raw orders opened. So here we have auto border editor, right? Mind that obviously it's still experimental, but it should work fine. So in auto border, we should always look at the last border ID. So this one is 95. We can obviously use our palette and get to the bottom of something else, and just for show, I'll do like something like this. So this border 95. So the next we're gonna want is 96. Blue rocks, let's call this, right? I'll add a floor just to be sturdy. So like this, like this, like this and like this, and then this will be north. Will it be north or south? This will be north, so south for, because they're reversed here, aren't they? Maybe I'll choose a different border. Hold on, maybe this will be better. Or are they all like this now? Okay, this might be just a bit easier to figure out. So 96 again, and we'll have, yeah, we'll have a bit of a easier look here. So this is for south actually, east. So east will be west here, north will be south, and then we had we don't have that here because I didn't copy the latest one. So we'll just use a placeholder for the east one. Let's use this. This will be obviously inner. So group, we don't really need to attach one. Z order, just do something like 855. Server look ID will be 32216, and then 32216 has to be added. And we do outer to none, and blue rock again. So we'll add that, yeah. It saved it successfully. It's in the cave tile set. So next time we reset it, it's gonna be added to the editor. Let me go back to global now for a sec. And find items is the next thing. So find items, yeah. Let's see, find items has a few things. So first of all, we can disable auto refresh. We can do search by range 512, and then if we do manually, it searches them. We can do like 487, 488, and let's do 483 to 485. And if we refresh, it's gonna be, oh, we have to enable it as well, and they're gone. So here we can choose max results. It shows us in the list, and obviously shows us only 800. Next is something that was working, but because I was doing some changes to the list, it's obviously not gonna show them now. But we can sort by ID, we can sort by name, and we can sort by position. So if you wanna go by positions, you can find items on the map by position. Properties, obviously you have things like leg slot. It's best to not have F5 when you're playing with those, as it'll just take a long time to query everything, so it's easier to do it manually. So how about if we just do everything that's not a head slot? As you can see, it's populating the list with pretty much every item in the game, so that's gonna take a lot of time, a lot of RAM, and a lot of CPU. And obviously we need more testers so that we can find more things that if something has a critical bug, like if preferences window is crashing because of a single changing, then it might be something very simple to fix. So the quicker I get more feedback, the quicker we can move on with the future versions. Replace items. So mainly replace item for me was using selection. So what I did was on selection, you can move map, make bigger selections. In the very bottom you can load presets, which I don't have any saved here. We have borders, so we can find some borders we want to replace with other borders. For example, if I'll do here add border items this to this, some borders might be different, so they might work slightly different. And another thing is that it's missing, that it has to have at some point, is batch processing for sure, because for now it's all manual. So for this one, it's probably not gonna even allow me to change it like that. Oh, this is already, blue rock is already there. So we need to find the border is gonna be probably at the start somewhere. Just to show how it works, right? So something like this, that's is that gonna be it? Yeah, that's gonna be it. So now if I'll do selection here like that, and then I'll start executing, it's gonna go over the selection, and replace all of them borders into a different border of a different kind, right? So yeah, so that works anyways. It shows you the total of each that was replaced. It allows you to run again in case not every single one was replaced. It takes a bit of time because it queries all of the tiles that are in the selection. So obviously it's not memory friendly or optimized because it just goes from top left to bottom right. We also have wall replacement, but it seems to be acting tough when okay, so doesn't give feedback at all. So then maybe I changed something here too. Um, yeah, it works, right? And you can go by variations, or you can go by other simple things, but some might not be compatible with others. But I just need to add the event timer to refresh whenever these are changing. But yeah, for walls it's quite handy. I just don't know if I can find something like a wooden wall is 40 something variations. I don't think there's any other wall. Bone wall maybe 25, and wooden wall. Yes, that's obviously adding doors and windows here, but we don't have doors and windows in that. Brick wall, frozen wall. Yeah, here it's gonna, so if you have similar structured walls with similar variations, it'll automatically find doors and whatnot for them and replace them with the correct ones, so that's quite handy for revamping. Um, Again, ability to obviously change selection anytime we want dynamically, or move the window or open anything else. Further down we're gonna have find action and unique ID ranges. So in search we have find action, and we can actually do action ranges now. So instead of searching for all of actions on the map, we can just search for particular ones, like from 1000 to 2000, right? But if you just go with empty one, it'll find all of the actions, right? And here again we can do it by position, which can be quite handy because then we're going from the top of the map to the bottom. So that can help whenever you're trying to find something in particular through positions. Although they're not perfect, as you can see, they stack from top to bottom order instead of going from top left. But I mean, floor is nice too. And obviously it's the same for unique, so I'm not even gonna show it. So unique is here. Find creature. So if you ever want to find a particular monster, where it is on the map, you can do that. It queries the whole spawns XML folder file, so it takes a bit of time. It might look like it's not responding, but it's just working in the background. I might port Python functionality or support. So if you're gonna have a Python, it should do it a bit quicker than the native C++ way, because it'll just it'll fill in back positions quicker and it'll process the file quicker. Obviously this is a large spawns file. We can even have a look. So this is like 3 megabytes, so it's gonna take its time. Yeah, or not, or maybe it's not working. Maybe I broke something as well again. Only God knows now. Could be because I have search result open as well. So there's still a few things to consider. That when one thing is open, another thing may break. So it was the case with the detached view that I have fixed now. It had memory leak as well. So there is a few of those, but they're only occurring if you're trying to open everything at the same time. So yeah, I'm gonna have to figure search results, or maybe it's because there's just that many wolves, right? Let's try something like Banshee, maybe, right? Maybe that'll be a bit easier on the. No. Sheesh. I'm actually not sure. Maybe the problem is that it's trying to query positions on the map instead of the file. That could well be the case. Seems like it is anyways, because it's supposed to search XML, but it doesn't. So So yeah, that's another thing to fix, huh? But that's good because at least I'm gonna know what needs to be fixed, which is something I've been struggling to do was debug and everything. Where here now I have a list of everything that needs to be done. So we'll just skip that for now, because obviously it's not gonna work on this large map. Uh, that's the perk of working with big maps. There might be a bit of work still need to be done. So let's see further. I have find things. Border batching. I guess we kind of showed border batching already. Border batching is nothing but just option to process next chunk. So even if you're doing like, if you ever wanted to borderize a large map, right, and you'd press this, it would just crash. Where now you can process each by pressing the button, and you can even increment the amount of places. And obviously it's gonna probably break borders everywhere because they were already. Oh no, I just saved them up. Whoops. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that now. let's see if it's gonna fix itself. No, it's not. So yeah, so when there's a lot of items, it's obviously gonna struggle, right? But that's how border batching was since always. It always struggled with multiple. Good thing is that oh, okay, that's how it is. It could be well because of automagic options. So or not, or maybe I'm doing something wrong here. But automagic is enabled. Maybe it's something with this map, or could also be related to the fact that I've added some new borders. They don't even get borderized for some reason. Hold on, give me a second. Let's see. Let me run the same version. So another thing is you can run the multiple instances. So you can open one map in one version, you can open another map in a different version. I'm pretty sure I was doing something here with that, yeah. So let me see further. Remove by ID with ranges, but we already kind of see how find item works. But we'll just go over remove by ID and stuff like that. So clean up is basically it. So we can remove invalid items, we can remove monsters and blocking tiles, we can remove empty spawns, we can remove away and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, borderize works now. So I just have something in the newer version that was struggling. It's still probably not gonna do a proper job here. Yeah. So I'm actually in the middle of fixing the borderize thingy, because you can see here in the 7.1.4 it's crashing, but in my one it's already somewhat working, but it's just missing some edge cases and stuff like that. Really problematic in the zone system is, since I added it, there was always some edge cases and stuff like that. So but I should probably have something figured out by the weekend, so hopefully we'll be able to get to that then. For now, let's just focus on the next thing. Let me just get here into discard those, so we can go back to a previous version. So yeah, so removal. I guess the easiest thing would be to show. So let's stop looking at special and let's hide zones. So let's just create few empty spawns. Let's create invalid monsters, and now we'll do that removal cleanup, right? So monsters and blocking tiles. So if a monster is found in a blocking tile like a wall or anything which will stop him from spawning by the engine, it'll obviously find those and it'll clean them, so you won't have errors in your console about empty spawns and stuff like that, which was a bit annoying. Removing unreachable tiles is also something that was requested. So here you can actually attach custom view range for clients with a different view, similar to if you want to see, for example, with a custom client, your client box, so you can make custom view size, right? And then in show or view, you'll be able to see a custom client box that's adjustable, right, by your preferences window. So you'll be able to make it smaller to your liking, right, to whatever your client is processing and sending. I'm not really sure what the real size is of the actual view box originally. Thought it was like something like 8 and 7 or something, but obviously it's rendering here. For custom values, so remove duplicates. So another thing will probably be cleanup by range, and then you can also add ignored IDs. Summarize is also another thing, so you can summarize a map. It'll tell you exactly what items are present on the map and how many of them is there. Need to add a position to teleport to the first found item. It's handy if you don't trust someone or wanna know if a mapper added some items underneath something, or if somebody is just basically trying to ambush your server from the mapper's position. Edit towns. So if I'll copy a position and go to edit towns, I can paste any position that I want, right, in any format as well. So it works similar to GoTo. You can support all of the formats now that I can copy from. You can paste them back. It's quite handy for teleporting and whatnot, right? That's Venor, that's Thais. Let's get rid of that client view. Let's go to minimap now, perhaps. So minimap has been improved. The first time you load each floor might be a bit slow, so we'll just go over each floor. And obviously you can save cache to disk, right? So it'll remember. But any place that you're uncovering for the first time is obviously gonna be a bit problematic. Good thing is that after caching it, you can pretty much zoom out and it'll still be somewhat renderable, but you have to stop for the map to update. But then you can just resize it freely, no lag whatsoever. And this is on full zoom, by the way. So the level of detail was introduced, where you can actually choose what is shown at what zoom level. So as you can see, tooltips here are at like 2, ground only zoom is on 10, items display is on 5, special features and whatnot, town, blah blah. If I zoom in to like half, that's already like unimaginary smooth anyways. So, and if you're on like a full trip, then you can go to, let's see, like the max zoom I did for items, slightly jaggedy, like really slightly, and looks smooth as heck. If you zoom in, obviously it gets smoother once you zoom in more and more. Hello. So that's one thing that's really good. And then obviously once the minimap is opened, the cache works its magic. Here is a little waypoint. Some letters are still unfortunately readable, kinda. So once you add the second waypoint, you can easily travel between them on the map. It's quite handy if you have some things. that you want to reuse or copy. But also you have the touched view for that now, so you can do dockable panel, and I can obviously be in two places at the same time, so I can quite literally grab something from the palette, build it somewhere else, right? Which was requested by many people. But now also another thing now that is a recent brush, so anything you touch will eventually become gold, given that you don't do it from select but from actually clicking the palette. So that's one thing, so that anything you click in the palette will be added to your recent brushes, but it won't be if you select it by raw or if you select by ground brush. It's only if you touch it from palette. For some people it might be handy, since you know you can create presets that you can save, so you can load different presets, right? You can save different presets. I'm not really sure if it works for creatures. Yeah, I don't think it does work for creatures, unfortunately. But I think I removed that functionality because it was not working properly. So cleanup tool we went over, view, use house color we went over that, navigate. So live mapping, I guess. Live mapping is something that works. So let me just create a host server, and let me open another map editor and just go with new. I guess there's no client version fallback, so that might be something that I look into. So here, if I log in, I don't know, you can't really go to positions, it doesn't show you tooltips or nothing, right? Because obviously it's in really like an early access, so there's no go to works or not. Okay, maybe go to works, hold on, let me just see. Okay, go to works, given that you know your positions. So now if say a host is hosting, right, and the client does changes, it updates for host immediately. The host's map is always updated, but if the host is drawing, the client map won't refresh manually. You have to refresh it either by pressing F6 or by going into here and clicking refresh view, but I'm not really sure where was it added. Could be gone from the menu bar. No, here it is, refresh visible area. So if I as a host do, let's just do a wall or doors or something. If I as a host do a lot of doors, I'll have to get here by and I'll have to refresh manually what I'm looking at, so that the synchronization is not flooding the server, because the idea is that host should send the least packets it has to others, because anytime you connect to the map and go to one area, it'll refresh for you anyways. Like if I'll zoom out now, host is already sending these packets, and it said, look at the amount of map I'm downloading within seconds. So it's obviously a bit laggy for a client. Like I'm moving down right now with an arrow, a bit of visual glitches, but look at the amount of map that is actually downloading. The packets are delivering, they're really good, but obviously it's the smaller the zoom, the quicker. Like if you can see now, I'm only moving slightly, it's literally synchronizing the map as I go, which is amazing. And let's say here's an area that I haven't seen yet, right? This area I haven't seen yet. So if I as a client haven't seen the area yet and the host commits changes to it, they'll refresh. And then if I obviously the refresh view works from like a kind of center point of the map, so sometimes you might need to like run around and hold F6 or spam it a few times for it to propagate all of the changes. But live mapping overall pretty much works. So just gonna disconnect it now. So yeah, this was another memory leak, but that doesn't happen anymore because we obviously created an edge case for the touched map view closing. let's see further. So live mapping, go to position, paste any format, minimap, detached view, notes. So notes is probably another thing, but I'm just gonna open a different map this time for notes, so we can see. mm, mm, so notes is somewhere where you can okay, some directories can't be accessed sometimes. Notes is basically for creating mm, notes is here, but for some reason I can't access it. Could be because I'm not running it as an administrator, I'm not really sure. But you'll be able to. Obviously, it's trying to save them now, so it's throwing errors. But overall, you can pretty much name your notes and whatnot. These errors are because it's trying to save them. We'll just skip that for now. So another thing after notes would be recent breaches, but we already have that. So other thing that's coming, it's kind of finished but not finished yet, is Monster Maker. So obviously Monster Maker is something that many people will like. It's just gonna be handy to get and use, but some outfits are still they might not fit correctly. Like if you see, uh, they're showing them really small, so I might have to do a bit of rendering fixes. I want to make the windows smaller as well because it's just too big. For attacks, we're preparing full spell view. So for now, it's not yet finished, but eventually we'll have shoot effects and whatnot. So then, if you choose a shoot effect, it'll have something, and it'll be target position. It'll show you where the effect is shooting. It's gonna have an animation. For now, it's still in uh, alpha, you can say, yeah. But you can generate random attacks, and it'll just create random attacks or whatever range, radius, and whatnot. Defenses, elements, where you can change immunities, add summons, voices, loot. Loot is yet to come, since it doesn't have a preview, which I would like to add. But you can also go from item palettes, so you can find whatever you're looking for, and then obviously add it to loot. That window shouldn't say that it's done or whatever. It should just skip it. XML obviously it adds loot, but should be a chance and count max here. So as you can see, some things are not fully yet ready, and then obviously the sizes are a problem. Okay, so 100k chance will not show, but 9993 does. So that's another edge case, something to fix. Name, obviously, if you add like a name, it's just gonna name him whatever. Like, and you can add all different flags. You can add elements. You can add immunities, right? You can add summons, and it does add most of the stuff. Summons are added, but then where's loot? Loot is here because I added loot first. So it adds the tags one after another. It shouldn't really matter, I think. I'm not sure if TFS actually cares about that, but yeah, doesn't load yet, so no loading. That's not yet a thing. Reset house IDs, so that'll be here, reset house IDs. So if you have houses that start from like an odd ID, you can bring them back to reset your database. Like for example, I have houses here that are like 2000 something, right? So if I'll do that, then houses are now normal IDs, and I can just find the houses at normal IDs that are not thousands or 3000s, but rather 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and whatever. Right. Reset town IDs. I don't need to do it here, but if you don't have town IDs that are sequential, you can do that here. You can reset them, and it'll make the IDs work fine. Map generation. There is some procedural map generation. So you can do island size, something like a 45, and then it starts making proper ones. The Euclidean fall off will be the smaller map, or the bigger. It's gonna adjust it and make it more of an island. So like 2.3, and then let's make like 248, 248, right? For a version like 1098 will generate a map that looks like she. Anyways, so you can make really large sizes maps. This is supposedly 1098, but I might have some custom version. So obviously it's gonna generate them without borders, but you can just borderize them. Now I don't know which version I'm running. Okay, this version it works, so, and it'll just make the borders for you, or you can just do the whole map. So if I'll do edit border options, borderize map, yes. Okay, too big of a map, I guess. Must be too big of a map, but I could make a selection, right? But it's just gonna take a long time. But just maybe for the sake of presentation, I'll do a large bit. So 5. Yeah. Just for the sake of show here, I'm gonna borderize all of those and then zoom in. Might take time because it's all in selection as well. Yeah, so pretty much bordered everywhere. So if you're ever in need of creating an island, then that's possible. Now obviously you could easily make these into proper rivers by connecting them and stuff. But it's not about that here now. So preferences. So preferences window has been crazy big. Autosave for those times where something goes wrong, where things crash. We made an autosave option. So 300 will take 5 minutes, and every 5 minutes it'll create an autosave backup of your map. So just remember to not leave your PC turned on large maps for a long time, because you'll just fill up your hard drive. And we might make maybe something like a thing that will delete the old ones, or keep like an hour back and delete the rest 55 minutes, right? That might be a thing. Show map loader warnings. So if you don't want your map loader, when it loads there's like an error, brush blah 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 doesn't exist, brush name blah blah blah, just disable it. Auto select row on right click. If you right click on a tile, it'll just go into a brush straight away. Open all maps in the same instance will not work because it requires different CPR and DATs. So this is for like different versions, but open them all in one. You won't be able to do that yet. Eventually maybe it'll come, but it'll be only for people with like 64 gigabytes of RAM or more, because obviously sprites are getting bigger and stuff like that. Group same type actions is no clue. Auto assign depot to closest temple. So I'll close these for now. And this, and open global just to show you what it's about. So it's gonna be a bit easier to present on a global map. The toolbar here, I want to add more features, like all these shortcuts to these functions will be better than looking at them in here in the menu bar. So that's definitely something also that will come, is long menu here. So let's say we're on root guard. We'll pick up a depot locker, right? We'll place one. No town, right? Let's go into preferences. Let's go into assign depot to closest temple. And now if you place it, it should... I could swear that it used to work. That's how I was doing it here. I was just placing them, and it would just place them. So maybe there's some issue with... Maybe there's some issue with changing the setting, but the main idea is that it'll attach the house IDs to the closest town. No, prawdopodobnie tak. It should probably, because usually like on initialization it does, but it could also be because I changed the versions, because I had 7.7.2 opened. So just give it a second. Bum, 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 bum. So yeah, few things to polish, but we have a long road until the version 8, right? And it's more of a toolkit than a map editor. But I haven't heard a lot of crashes happening, probably because people not really using it like God intended. Let me see the depot locker now. I was pretty sure that it was working. Find closest. Well, the algorithm is here. But I'm just thinking, what's the issue? Why is it not? Why is it not finding it? I don't know. So it's another feature that was working recently, but obviously sometimes when I add something, something else goes missing. That's just the way it is. So further dark mode preferences, interface, you can really choose what type of UI you want. Obviously you need to restart the map editor for that to take changes. So let me tag depot. Auto border has a problem now. Monster maker will be to do. Notes had just recently showed some problem. Let me see now. Could be because of the map either. Like it could be something to do with the map now. Wall eyes and borderized batching is problematic, so I'm gonna tag that for next version. Obviously grid view in things. So okay, so at least I know what needs to be done. It should really be a checkbox here instead of here, but let's see what else. Top order conflict. Use dark mode. Okay, yeah, so you can't change color. But why wouldn't you be able to? Wait, what if I Okay, so you don't have to restart. You can just change the color of your thing by disabling it and then enabling it, and then works. So you can really have a truly dark mode if you want. Although I don't really find it glamorous, so something like a dark blue could be working a bit better, you know, that type of navy blue. So another thing is, as you can see, is data directory, so you can load scripts. And what that does is it allows you to right click an NPC, open its script. XML file for Dove was not found. That's Dove, is it? Dove, okay. So naming could be big here. So for opening ref scripts, it works fine. It just opened that for me, no problem, right? Should do same for torch now. Yeah, it knows where the file is based on its action ID. I don't know why the NPCs are not. It's probably because their names are small letters while the files are probably big letters. So data NPC, yeah, as you can see they're capital letters, but the map editor is showing the NPC name as small letter. Okay, browse field is actually huge as well. So as you can see, you can decide top order of items simply by being in a browse field. You can change what's on top of what, right? And also if you don't want to take something, you can select it by row. Yeah. So that's another big addition. Auto border, we already showed that. Auto save, ref script support. Ref script support can really be handy if you're looking for an action, right? So say if you have like these are just doors, so they're not gonna show a proper key for them. But if we're looking at something like like a quest, like a particular quest, so here will be Annihilator, Poi probably, and all that shit. Yeah, Annihilator, Pizza Inferno and whatnot, right? So each of them will have like some form of rewards and whatnot. These are little chest quests, so they're all system. All 2000s are part of a system. They work as whatever's in the chest and then unique ID, right? So I think everybody's familiar with that. Client options, right? In client options, in version, you can force load items OTB from a client folder. So if you have a folder where you have Tibia, DAT, CPR, items OTB and XML in one folder, you can load them all instead of the OTARMEIE folder, because usually XML and OTB are going to be loaded from this. You can load them all from your custom folder. So that's quite handy. Layer carpets is also a neat feature. So I'm just not really sure where carpets are gonna be here. This is a carpet, I know for a fact. Carpet brush, ground brush. There is probably others like a dusty rocks or whatever. Wait, hold on, rocks or sandstone. Like not this type. So if you have carpets, right, you can I don't have that one as a I don't have it as a ground brush, do I? I don't have it as a border. Shit. But anyways, these carpets, there they are. Okay, so as you can see, I can position one layer on top of another. So, and they kinda mix together, you know. I'm pretty sure that used to work better. Maybe it's because of the other thing. Same ground type. Okay, now that should. Yeah, you can pretty much stack one on top of another. They're just like so colorful that you can't really see. So if I make that, and they're like one underneath another. I don't know why they're duplicating though. So that shouldn't be a thing. They shouldn't duplicate. So I'm gonna add that. To do carpet brush duplicating. Carpet brush duplicating. Item editor. So it's still not ready. It allows you to browse, check flags, but it obviously does not yet allow you to change them. So you'll be able to see what flags certain items have, descriptions and whatnot, but you won't be able to edit them properly yet, as it's not finished. But it loads the OTB, so that's great. And yeah, still didn't duplicate anything. Anyways, discard. So another thing would be invisible items. So 459 is stairs, right? And in preferences we can do that for any type of object. So we can even change stairs if you like. You can have them green, and if I enable it, it'll turn it into green. If I want it yellow, it'll turn it into yellow. Want a bit more colorful, possible. You can also define your own items, so I'm just gonna have to need to take ID of that, for example. And you can take your own items and you can turn them into invisible items. So that's like 414, and then double dot 2550 so make it purple. Do I need to semicolon it? Okay, don't know why I can't. Why I can't change it now? It used to change it fine for me. Could be because the map is just too big, so it won't. But it should. Or maybe it's because it has a sprite, so it's not gonna put on a mask on that. Yeah, on invisible, on empty tiles I can do that, but I can't do it on things like that. I just wonder, maybe just to see if it matters. You know, I won't set it on those either. So only for empty tiles, only for empty invisibles. That's pretty much everything for features for now. I'm gonna probably sit down to that auto border issue, try to get that nabbed, and then focus on getting the other features working back again, cause just so much that I've been adding that I might have to work out some edge cases for other things. Thanks for tuning in, and see us.